Computer. All right, we're recording. All right, so build a database, feed it every day. Feed it every day simply means I'm adding one new person every day to my database. Guys, if you have background noise, hit mute, please. I'm going to use an 8x8.
For business.
All right, give me a moment, guys. I'm going to mute everybody.
Oh, we mostly have thunder here.
I love those side conversations. You always hope somebody doesn't say something they're not supposed to say. So I'm going to use an 8x8. That means I'm going to communicate with everybody that's new to my database once a week for 8 weeks in order to create top of mind so that when they think of real estate, they think of me. On the 8th conversation, I'm simply going to say, hey, Lucas, by the way, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home or sell a home, or if you were going to buy a home or sell a home, would you consider working with me? It's important to ask the question just like that, because if I ask Lucas, would you work with me? I might get no. And I don't want no, I want yes, because my goal is to move all of those new Mets down into my sphere of influence. Now, because I'm going to work 250 days a year, that's 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, with 2 weeks vacation, and I'm going to add one new person to my database every single day. That means I've added 250 new Mets to my database in the next 12 months. And I want to move all 250 of those down here into my sphere of influence. Now I'm going to communicate with that group 36 times a year using a 36-touch smart plan inside a command. Now that 36-touch smart plan includes 4 phone calls, 1 per quarter. These are care calls, not sale calls, using Ford model of communication. In other words, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So if I were calling Cerise, I'd say, hey, Cerise, John Dietz, just wanted to reach out, let you know I thought about you. How's your family? How's work doing? Are you still working? Are you still able to work from the office? Or are you working from home? By the way, I noticed you guys were going on vacation. Looks like you went to the Bahamas. Did you have a good time? That's awesome. What was your favorite part? Blah, blah, blah. Is there anything I can do for you today? Now, before we hang up, just out of curiosity, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home or sell a home, would you refer them to me? Magic, magic. And does that feel like a sales call? Paula, if I'm your friend and I call you and I have a Ford Care Call conversation with you, and at the very end, the last 15 seconds of the call, I close with, hey, Paula, just out of curiosity, if you knew of somebody that was going to buy a home or sell a home, would you refer them to me? Does that feel like a sales call? If you were my friend, would you be okay with having that conversation with me? Lucas, thumbs up. Good. See, this is what happens when you guys show up on camera. I talk to you. Those of you who are on camera, I'm not talking to you. They're Frank, right? And the reason I'm pausing here for a moment, guys, if you're talking to me, make sure you take yourself off mute. The reason I'm pausing here for a moment is because I coach real estate agents, and I have agents tell me all the time, John, I really don't want to call my friends and family members and ask for a referral because it kind of feels a little pushy. It's a drunk monkey living inside your head telling you that you're going to come across as pushy, that you're going to come across as needy. And I promise you, you're not. Now, here's the other thing I can promise you. You're not going to be comfortable with it at the beginning. It's going to be really, really weird. Do it anyways, including your family. Don't assume that they're thinking about you when they're thinking about real estate, because they're not. Cerise, your very best friend could be at a party tonight, talking to a neighbor who's going to put their home on the market, and that friend is not coming home after that party and thinking, you know what, I got to call Cerise and let her know my neighbor is going to sell her house. She's not thinking about you. If that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but it's just fact. Now, however, if you call her tomorrow, she's part of your daily call list, and you say, hey, by the way, if you knew if somebody was going to sell their home, would you refer them to me? She's going to say, you know what? I can't believe you're calling. I was just at a party and my friend, my next door neighbor last night said she's going to list her house. It happens just like that. Yes or yes? Okay, cool. Now, I'm building a database. I'm feeding it every day. I'm communicating with my database in a systematic way. And then I'm going to service all the leads that come my way. Cool. Fun. Now, I've got 250 people in my database because I started with 0 because I don't know anybody. And I've added 1 new person every day. So a year from now, I have 250 people in my database on a 36 touch. And the return on that is 10%, meaning I've just built a database that's worth 25 sales in the next 12 months. If my average commission check is $10,000, I've just built a database that's worth $250,000 simply by adding 1 person every day. How we doing so far, guys? Okay? Thumbs up. Lucas says we're good, so we're going to turn the page. Now, I've got 3 different buckets of opportunity that I'm going to focus on. One is repeat and referral business, and that's my database. The second is prospecting. Now, if I'm you and I'm taking notes, I'm writing for sale by owner, expireds, circle prospecting, door knocking, all different examples of how you can prospect. And then we have marketing. Now, my job description is to work 250 days to have 20 conversations every day or 5,000 conversations in the next 12 months. Focusing on repeat and referral business, that's my database, and focusing on prospecting. Now, marketing, you can run Facebook ads through command. You can pay a pay-per-click for leads through 100 different sources. You could do a farming campaign to a neighborhood, and on and on and on, and lead with revenue. In other words, I'm not spending any money here until I'm closing sales. When my wife and I started the Dietz team back in 2008, we didn't spend 1 dime on marketing for 3 years. And we built a business that was listing and selling an average of 10 homes every month without spending any money on marketing. So it can be done. All right. I'm going to pause because I've been talking nonstop now for 20 minutes. And I'm just going to give you an opportunity. We're not done. We're not close to being done. But I'm just going to pause and give you an opportunity to ask me questions. Take yourself off mute. Talk to me. While you're thinking what you want to talk about, I'm going to keep drawing pictures.
I have a question, John.
Go for it.
So in your daily calls, when you're saying you haven't met, where do you suggest that we get the haven't met? Like, you know, like Is that just like people we meet on the street, or is that a target? Like, should we be prospecting a list of numbers to try to talk to people? Is that cold calls, or, you know, what is that?
Frank, that's a great question. And it's everybody. Your haven't mets is the guy standing in line next to you at Starbucks. It's somebody that you meet at a party. It's someone that you meet at church or temple, someone in your neighborhood that you haven't met. It's everyone that you don't have a name, number, phone number, and email address for. And
we're trying to add one of those a day.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, let me just change what you said just a little bit. Make it a standard. Make it a non-negotiable standard, which means at the end of the day, you have to add one person every day to your database. It's easier than you think it is. And the script that you want to use is, by the way, I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. That means I send them interesting information on the real estate market once a month, and I call every 30 or 40 days just to check in. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? And what's going to happen, Frank, is you're going to get people that say no. Cool. We're not judged by the number of times we fail, but by the number of times we succeed. And the number of times we succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times we can fail and keep trying. So don't keep score of your failures, keep score of your wins. And all I'm looking for, Cerise, is one person to say yes every day. Now, if my numbers are anything like your numbers, you're going to have to talk to 3 people to get one person to say yes. 1 out of 3 will say, yeah, of course, I'd love to get that information from you. Did that help? Did that answer your question, sir? Good job. All right, so I'm having 20 conversations. Let's start with my sphere of influence, my past clients, and my raving fans. These are people who know me, have worked with me, and absolutely love me. And they tell everybody, hold on a second, I'm going to move this so you guys can see the whole screen. No, you're either going to see the whole screen and half my head, or all of my head and not the whole screen. Whatever. I think it's more important you see this than me. Raving fans are people who know you, have worked with you before, and they're advocates. They tell everybody how great you are. So I'm going to start every day with these 20 conversations by talking to my database. These are care calls using family, occupation, recreation, and dreams as my acronym so that I know what to talk about. Now, right now, ask for seller listings. The last thing I want right now is another buyer. Right, Deb Tom? The last thing I want right now is another buyer.
100%.
Ask for sellers. So if I'm making care calls and I'm talking to Paula, I'm closing the call with, hey, Paula, before I go, just out of curiosity, do you know of anybody who's looking to sell their home right now? Please write that down, guys. I'm going to give you a couple. There's one. If you know of anybody who's looking to sell, would you give me a call? Hey, Cerise, the market is super hot. It is a great time to sell. And as a matter of fact, your home is worth more now than it ever has been. Just out of curiosity, what would it take you? What would you need in order to sell your home today? What's a price that you can't say no to? Did you write that down? You know what? What's cool about Zoom is I can tell if you're writing down by the way I'm by watching you guys on screen. I told you I was like a high school teacher. I'm watching you. Please write this down.
One question.
Yes, sir.
If you get the classic
Yeah, but where am I gonna live after I sell my home? How do you deal with that?
But you know, Lucas, you might actually have to move twice because there's not a lot of homes for sale right now. Here's the next question. Is the pain of moving twice, please write this down. Is the pain of moving twice worth getting out at the top of the market?
Yeah,
Did you get that?
yeah,
Is that a good response to where am I going to move?
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You know, you actually might have to move twice because we might not be able to find something for you to buy. So you might have to rent for a while. However, is the pain of moving twice worth getting out at the top of the market? What if you knew your home was worth more today than it would be over in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
What would you do? If we had a crystal ball and we knew the value of your home is more today than it will be in the next 5 years, what would you do? Now, don't let people off the hook when they say things like, well, how do you know? Go right back to, that wasn't the question. The question was, if you knew, what would you do? Then be quiet. Let them think about it.
And let's say they're like, hey, how do you know when the market's gonna go down? It might not go down for a couple of years. That mean I need to rent for 2-3 years?
Lucas, tell me when I get to the top, okay? I want you to tell me when I get to the top. So market values are going up, right? Yes?
Yep.
Talk to me. Tell me when I get to the top.
You passed it.
You missed it. Want to try again? Market values are going up, right?
Yeah.
Tell me when I get to the top.
Right there.
Still missed it. What's my point? Cerise, take yourself off mute because you're smart. I know you got the answer right.
You never know.
You don't know. You can't time the market. It's not possible. The media will be 6 to 12 months behind. When the media says market values are going down, that means they went down a year ago.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, the next calls I'm going to have are for sell by owners. And that's going to change because as the market shifts, expireds are going to become more important. But right now it's for sell by owners. Simple script. Paula, I notice you're selling your home by owner. Just curious, if I had a full price offer today, would you want me to bring you the offer? She said yes. Perfect. That's exactly why we should get together. I only need 15 minutes to pop by. Please write down my scripts exactly, guys, because it's important. The reason you're getting no is because they think you want to move in. Let them know it's going to be a short appointment. I only need 15, 20 minutes to pop by and take a look at your home. Would today at 3 o'clock work or would 4 be better? Expired calls. Cerise, I noticed your home came off the market. Just curious, are you still interested in selling your home? Now, let's say that you hear, I'm going to take a break, because that's a common response. Sure, of course. And in the meantime, if there were a buyer willing to pay full price on your home, would you want them to bring you the offer? They're going to say yes. That's exactly why we should get together, so I could potentially bring you that offer. If they say they're going to relist with their previous agent, your response to that is, I understand, and you don't owe them anything, and you certainly don't owe me anything, but you owe yourself the opportunity to hire the best agent for the job. If they say, where were you the last 6 months? Why didn't you show my home? Your response is, great question. And whenever a home doesn't sell that should have, like yours, it typically comes down to one of three reasons: either price, presentation, or marketing. Just out of curious, which of the three do you believe it is? They're going to say marketing. In other words, the other realtor is a no good, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Finish the sentence. And part of marketing is letting all the real estate agents know your home is for sale. And quite honestly, your agent never let me know your home is for sale. That's why I didn't show it. Now, when you hire me, I'm going to send an email to the top 100 agents in the market. I'm going to call the top agents in the market, and I'm going to let them know your home is for sale, because part of what I do to get your home sold is market to buyers, but I also market to other realtors. Circle prospecting. Guys, I think this is the magic that we're missing right now. If I were in production today, I would circle prospect every day. Pick a property that's sold. It doesn't have to be your listing. It doesn't have to be from your office. Just a home that sold. Walk the neighborhood with a generic door hanger that has your name, your brand, your contact information, and a message that says, a home in your neighborhood recently sold. There are still buyers looking for great homes like yours. And who do you know that's looking to sell? Now, the same day, mail a postcard to everybody in that same neighborhood. Your name, your brand, your contact information. Same message. So now they've gotten the same message from you twice in 3 days with the same brand, the same contact information, and then you're going to call them. And when they answer the phone, simply, hey, Cerise, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty, you probably got a postcard from me recently, maybe a flyer on your door. The reason I'm calling you is because a home in your neighborhood just sold, which is great news. Our challenge now is we still have buyers looking for great homes like yours, and there's nothing for sale. And I was just curious, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their house? Now, Paula, is it possible that the person you're speaking to is thinking of selling their house? Yeah, it is. And if you call 100 people and you talk to 30 of them, you're going to get one person at least who's going to say, I can't believe you called. I was actually thinking of putting my house on the market. Now, here's why this is gold. Because could you take what I'm teaching you right now, and could you do this with one neighborhood every single week? Nod your head if you agree you could. That means you could create one listing opportunity once a week, every week for the next 50 weeks. Because you just said you could do this. Now, if you had 50 listing opportunities, 50 people who say, yep, I'm thinking of selling my home. You're going to put those 50 people in a pipeline, and you're going to create a systematic follow-up. Because remember, they may not be thinking of selling, they may be thinking of selling their home, but it might be 6 months from now. Here's where real estate agents get it wrong. The seller says, I'm thinking about selling my home, but it's not going to be for another 6 months. The average real estate agent would say, bad lead. To me, all leads are the same. Because 6 months from now, I'm going to need listings. A year from now, I'm going to need listings. One of my favorite things to do when I used to work open houses is when the when the buyer visiting the open house said, I'm just looking, I'm not going to buy for another 2 years. My response was, that's awesome. I'm going to be selling homes 2 years from now. Go ahead and sign in for me. Because to me, it's all the same. It's just going in the funnel. I live at the top of the funnel, not at the bottom of the funnel. Now, I've got 50 opportunities circle prospecting, and I am going to systematically follow up forever until we get to that point about 7 to 10 days before they decide to list their house. That's when they get serious. And when we get to that point, because you follow up forever, you're creating emotional proximity. And when you give them a call, hey, Deb, Tom, John Dietz, just following up his promise, when check in and see how's everything going. That's the only script I've got on follow-up. That's it. Hey, Cerise, John Dietz, just checking in, following up as promised. Want to see how everything is going. Is there anything I can do for you today? No, John, I'm good. By the way, I'm never going to list my house with you. Cool. Talk to you in a couple weeks. What are you guys thinking? Good? You okay with that? Reject, rejection. Reject, rejection. No is not a word that lives in my vocabulary. No simply means not yet. People will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. Cerise just doesn't have the right information yet. We doing okay? You know, that's the part about Zoom that I don't love. If we were in a room, we'd be talking to one another. Talk to me. Cerise, you're talking, but you're on mute. I can't hear you.
I am. I am. No, it is about rejecting rejection. And I am too quick to move on when someone says something. I'm like, okay, because I feel as if I'm respecting their space. I'm respecting them. Maybe I'm a little too respectable right now.
Are you the best agent for the job?
Yes.
Are you doing them any favors by not following up?
No.
If you don't follow up, is there a possibility that they're going to hire another realtor that's not as good as you, that doesn't do as good a job as you could?
Yes.
You're actually doing them a disservice by listening to them and stop calling.
Okay.
All right. So once you've got that person that says, yep, thinking about selling my home, immediately they go in my pipeline, my funnel for systematic follow-up. And I am just going to follow up. You want to write this down. Once a week for the first 4 weeks. And then once every other week for the next 8 weeks. So that's 3 months. Once a week for the first 4 weeks, and then once every other week for the next 8 weeks, and then once a month after that forever. The longest it took me was 3 years and 87 phone calls before somebody hired me. By the way, that was someone who told me they were never going to hire me. The reason they were never going to hire me is because if they listed their house, they already had a real estate agent and they were going to hire that agent. Well, by the time they decided to sell their home, that agent either got out of the business. Quite honestly, I didn't ask because I didn't care. Or something else happened, but they called me and said, John, we're ready to sell our house. Come list it. Because, Cerise, pay attention, because I didn't listen to them. By the way, that was a $500,000 home that sold to the very first buyer that looked at it. If I would have listened to them, that would have cost me $15,000. All right. So circle prospecting. The reason I'm calling is a home in your neighborhood recently sold. Guys, if you listen to my scripts, I'm going to teach you how to memorize scripts. They're written in bullet points. I speak them in bullet points. It's the same way music is written, by the way. If music was written in paragraph form, you couldn't sing the song. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Don't ask me to sing. You guys would all check out. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Write your scripts in bullet points. So the reason for my call is a home in your neighborhood recently sold. Great news. Our challenge now is we still have buyers that are interested in great homes like yours. And I was wondering, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? Lucas, are you just leaning in or are you talking to me? All right. I'm far enough from the screen that I can barely see you guys. Don't get old because you can't see. Another circle prospecting script that I would use right now. Get good at this because you're going to need to be really good at this in the next 12 months. Frank, my name is John Dietz. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. The reason I'm reaching out to you today is because I specialize in helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. If you know of anybody who's behind on their mortgage or in forbearance, please give me a call with their contact information because I can help. So Lucas, I specialize in helping homeowners avoid foreclosure. If you know of anybody who's behind on their mortgage or currently in forbearance, would you please give me a call with their contact information because I can help. Now, am I looking for a referral? Yeah, I am, but this is a direct offer. I just don't want to call Frank and say, hey, Frank, by the way, if you're behind on your mortgage payments or if you're in forbearance, I can help. That's a little bit too direct. So I'm going to give him a more indirect opportunity to tell me, hey, John, by the way, that person is me. I'm pausing because that's someplace where you guys should have questions.
So as somebody who specializes in helping homeowners avoid foreclosures, that is probably a skill set as far as the process of, what that means that we now need to go learn.
That was the question I was looking for. Thank you, Cerise. That was it. You're paying attention. Thank you, because that's the question. So Cerise, just role play this with me and just say, John, that's me, right? And my response is going to be, cool, I understand. And we have options. Are you aware of what those options are, Cerise?
I have no clue.
Okay. Well, if you have equity in your home, the first option is let's get it on the market and sell it and get out at the top of the market before we see a potential shift and prices drop.
Okay.
If you don't have equity, then your options are allow the property to go to foreclosure or do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Or the third option is do a short sale. Now, the advantage to a short sale is on the day your property closes, my job is to negotiate with the bank to allow you to close on your property without owing the bank any additional money, which means you get to walk away without having to pay the bank one more dime. That's the first advantage. By the way, that's a huge advantage, because if your property is foreclosed on and the bank sells the property for $200,000 less than what you owe on your mortgage, they're coming after you for that additional $200,000. They're going to sue you.
Mhm.
Plus they're gonna sue you for court costs, penalties and interest, and attorney fees. Whereas with a short sale, you're done. On the day the property closes, you don't owe anybody any more money. Now, the other advantage to a short sale is it's going to have less of a negative effect on your credit than a foreclosure or a deed in lieu of foreclosure will.
Okay, so the first, the three options, equity, what was the second one before short sale?
So our first option is if you have equity in your home, we just put it on the market and sell it, and you've got equity at the time of closing. And it's best to do that now at the top of the market versus waiting and the market value potentially going down. The second option is if you don't have equity, you could allow your property to go to foreclosure. Or you could do a deed in lieu of foreclosure. And the third option, and the best option, is to do a short sale.
Okay.
Now, I talked to an attorney recently who told me that she has 13 short sales sitting on her desk right now. 13. And she said, John, I haven't had more than 2 on my desk since 2012. I haven't had more than 2 at one time on my desk. Now, I asked her how many short sales she was working between 2008 and 2011. And she said on average between 40 and 50 at a time.
Wow.
Now, are we going to go back to that market? No, I don't think we will. But I think that the writing is on the wall already that things are going to change. You're going to see more properties that are distressed sales.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. The other thing that I would do is if I had buyers, I'm back here again, circle prospecting. If I had buyers looking for a home and I couldn't find the home that they're looking for, I would have them write a letter that's addressed directly to the seller. In other words, dear homeowner, we are looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in your 4-bedroom, 3-bath home with a pool in your neighborhood, and there's currently not anything on the market. If you are thinking of selling your home, please contact our realtor, Deb Tom, at 954-555-5555 and mail that to everybody in the neighborhood. It is a letter directly from your buyer directly to the seller. Now be really careful here because love letters will end up getting you fined. You cannot have them write anything that says little Johnny and little Becky are going to be attending Mulberry Elementary School and you have such a great neighborhood for families like ours. That's going to get you sued. Don't do that. Make it generic. Dear homeowners, we are looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath pool home in your neighborhood, and there's nothing currently on the market. If you're thinking of selling your home, please contact our realtor, Deb Tom, at, and that's it. You'll get listing leads.
That's so funny. I've never heard that one from you.
Told you, Deb, that you would get something today that you could use.
Okay, you're good. Can I go now? I'm kidding. I gotta go. I gotta write my letters.
You're breaking my heart. Yes, Deb Tom, you could go.
Kidding. I'm not going anywhere. Stop.
Yeah, we've got 10 more minutes anyways, guys. All right, how are we doing? Okay. Can I get a thumbs up? Nod your head.
Good.
Good. Okay, good. All right. Door knock. Door knock circle prospect is the same thing as circle prospect phone call. At the same time, there is a lot of value in door knocking. Now, I'm going to tell you, in addition to door knocking a neighborhood, Terry Polar, if you know Terry Polar, Polar Bear, has door knocked the same neighborhoods for so many years that when people open the door, they greet her like part of the family.
That's her only lead generation. That's it. And she does great. And she does great. And she does all listings. And that's literally it. Like, she's addicted to it.
True story.
Yeah, it is.
True story. True story. And she's just got one of those last names. I think I'd change my last name if I got back into production. She's just got one of those last names that is just made for marketing. So if you look at the back of all of her marketing pieces, it would say Polar, like the bear. And there's a picture of a polar bear. Brilliant.
That's what she also
don't
gives
know
out
if
when
people
she
remember her?
knocks.
You think people remember her? 100% they remember her. Matter of fact, they open the door and they're like, Polar Bear, it's so good to see you. Wow. Right? Okay. All right. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. The purpose of the appointment is to look for opportunity and build a foundation to follow up from. So I'm making calls in order to get appointments. Now, one of the most common questions that I get when I teach this class is, what do you do when you go on the appointment? Great question. Number one, call ahead of time and confirm the appointment. Number two, show up professionally dressed. Pay attention to the details. That is your Kodak moment. The moment they open that door, hi, Paula, John Dietz. We had an appointment at 5 o'clock and it's 5 o'clock. May I come in? Now, if you're not naturally enthusiastic, right? Fake it. How's that? And whatever level of enthusiasm you normally got, dial it up times 10. So Lucas, I show up at your front door. Hi, Lucas. My name's John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. We had an appointment today at 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. Can I come in? How excited are you about meeting with me?
Not at all.
Not very excited.
Not at all.
Right. Hey, Cerise, John Dietz, Keller Williams Realty. We had an appointment for 5 o'clock and it's 5 o'clock. May I come in? Now, the moment I stand in that front door, next two things out of my mouth are, wow, you have a beautiful home.
Yep.
And would you like me to take my shoes off before I take one more step? Little things matter. I'd ask people all the time, why did you hire me? And I would get, you were nice. You were professional. You were polite. You offered to take your shoes off. If they have a dog or cat, stop and pet the dog. Get down on one knee and pet Fluffy. Paula's shaking her head. She go, I'm not petting that dog. You better, Paula. That's like walking to my house and ignoring Lacey. You ain't going to win a whole lot of brownie points if you do that. It's my daughter, if anybody doesn't know. Do people love their dogs like they love their children? Say yes.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm going to get down on the knee. I'm going to pet that dog. What a cute dog. What's your dog's name? Deb says the dog's name is Princess. I'm writing Princess in my notes so I don't forget the dog's name is Princess. It's important. Now, the very next thing that I'm going to say is Lucas. Frank Cushon comes on with a dog. I love it. It's a schnauzer, right? Yep. Frank, Lucas, the next thing that comes out of my mouth is, Lucas, I'd love for you to take me on a tour of your home. I have my notebook in my hand, right? With a pen in the other hand. I'm going to take lots of notes and I'll ask you some questions. And this is the information that I would use to help you sell your home. Now, the next thing I want you to write down is like their home. Be enthusiastic. Your job is not to stage the house. Don't walk through the house and say things like, oh my gosh, purple fuzzy wallpaper. What the heck were you thinking? You got to get rid of that. This carpet looks like it come from the 1970s. Do you have the pants and shoes to match? That was funny. You should laugh. At least Paula smiled. So don't do that. Like their house. Be enthusiastic. Ask lots of questions. Take lots of notes. If the kitchen's been updated, wow, beautiful kitchen. I love your kitchen. Granite countertops, maple cabinets, stainless steel appliances, travertine floors. Absolutely gorgeous. As I'm taking notes, I'm talking out loud so they know what I'm writing down. Now, before I leave, it depends on what kind of an appointment it is. If it's a for sale by owner appointment, exit conversation is, Frank, thank you for allowing me to see your, nope, you're leaving for the dog. I'm gonna talk to somebody else. Lucas, thank you, oh, you're back. Frank, thank you for allowing me to see your home. You have an absolutely beautiful home. Before I leave, can I ask you a couple questions? Yes. So in my experience, most homeowners that are selling their home by owner like you have a game plan for how long they're going to sell their home by owner before they hire a realtor like me. Is it okay if I ask you what your game plan is? Now, he may say, if it doesn't sell this weekend, I'm going to call a realtor on Monday. I've had people tell me that. By the way, are they going to offer you that information if you don't ask? No, they're not. Sometimes success is just that simple. Now, whatever he says, 30 days, 3 months, whatever it is, my response is, you have a beautiful home. I'm sure it'll sell. And just in case it doesn't, I'd certainly love the opportunity to interview for the job. Now, if it's okay, can I ask one more question? He's going to say yes. Again, in my experience, most for sale by owners are selling their home by owner in order to save on the fee. Is that the reason you're selling your home by owner? He's going to say yes. Your response to that is, that makes sense. And I know you shared with me on the phone that if I brought you a buyer, you would give me 3% to represent the buyer in the sale of your home. Yeah. So the difference between selling your home by owner and working with a professional like me is 3%, not 6%. Now, I'm just going to let that sit. It's called dropping a bomb and walking away. Remember, people will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. And until I said that, I guarantee they were thinking it's going to cost them 6% to hire a realtor. If they're selling a $500,000 home, they were thinking it's going to cost me $30,000 to hire a realtor. That's ridiculous. I'll sell it on my own. Now they just self-discovered they're already willing to pay 15 because they're willing to work with a buyer's agent. There's a 97% chance that if they sell their home by owner, the buyer is going to be represented by a realtor. So they've got a 97% chance they're already spending $15,000. All I have to do is help them self-discover that they're better off spending the other $15,000 to hire me than hanging in there and trying to sell the home on their own. That's why when realtors tell me all the time, John, you can't list for sale by owners in a hot market. Yes, you can. I don't care how hot the market is because they're still better off working with you. Now, if you don't believe that, you ain't got a chance. You have to believe it. All right, I'm going to close with this, guys. The purpose of the call is to get an appointment. The purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from, and success is in the follow-up. You want to be more successful and sell more homes? Follow up. Systematic. Follow up. Over time. Forever. You've got 3 reasons that you're allowed to stop following up. Number 1, their home's sold. You don't need to call them anymore. Number 2, they listed with somebody else. You don't need to call them anymore. Matter of fact, don't. You're going to get in trouble if you do. And the 3rd reason is you're dead.
You're dead, or they are.
That's it. Now you're allowed to stop calling. Come on, Paula, you gotta laugh. That was funny. That's not me, by the way. That's Tom Hawkins. I got that from How to Master the Art of Listing and Selling Real Estate. Read that book 20 years ago before I got my license. Changed my life. All right, give me a couple ahas. Tell me you learned something today. Make me feel good. Lie to me even if you didn't. Think of something.
I like the letter to the from the buyer.
Thank you, Deb Tom. I meant what I said to you this morning. It is my goal to help you to never work with another buyer again.
Well, I don't want to do that, but just I don't want to play with them right now until there's more stock.
Go get more listings. That fixes everything. There ain't nothing, no problem in your life you having right now that 2 listings won't solve.
That's right. I have fought you for 4 years that I do not want to be a listing agent, and I got to stop.
Well, there you go. Just like it took me 30 years to learn to stop fighting with my wife, that she's always right. Be smarter than me. Right? Lucas, you married?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
God bless you.
When you get married, she's right day 1.
Noted.
Happy
All right, give me
wife,
a couple
happy
more
life.
ahas, guys.
For me, it's a new non-negotiable standard of the haven't met, of adding one every day to the database.
Cerise, how long have you had your license?
A year,
How many people are in your database?
270 odd number.
That's a good number. How many more would be in your database if you would have learned this a year ago?
About, what is that, 20 times the 250?
250.
Yeah,
1 a day.
yeah.
It's okay. I'm not trying to I don't want it to hurt too bad, just a little bit.
Yeah, but that is definitely something I can do.
All right. 1 more. No? Frank, you got your hand up. You know that? Your little digital hand is up. Does that mean you want to talk? Or did you just waving at me?
I must just be waving at you. I didn't know my hand was up.
Hi.
I don't even know how to do that.
All right. Hey, everybody. I enjoyed this. Thank you for the opportunity.
John, I just have a quick comment.
For Vanessa.
How you doing? It was
Always
great
good.
class.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great class. We are going to for sure be focused on the circle prospecting. That's
Good.
our goal.
Yep.
That's what we are going to do. Now, I just had a quick question. I know you are recording. How can we listen to this again in order to write down the scripts?
Go to YouTube. Give me a day. Wait till tomorrow
Okay.
morning and go to YouTube and search John Dietz.
Okay, perfect.
And if
perfect.
you haven't already, I don't know, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, please do. If
I
you
will.
haven't already joined Survive to Thrive on Facebook, please do.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, John.
My pleasure. All right, everybody.
Thank you, John.
Thank
Hey,
you.
you know what? I'm gonna leave you with a story. You guys got time for a quick story?
Yes, of course.
This is my favorite lead generation story. See if anybody jumped off. No, good. So I'm on my morning walk. Raise your hand if you've heard the duck story. Deb, Cool. Everybody else, it's going to be new too.
It's a good one.
So I'm walking every morning, and part of my walk is through Eagle Trace in Coral Springs. And I walk the golf course because I'm out there before the golfers are. And every day for a year, these ducks come up to me, quack, quack, quack. Every day. And I'm like, it finally dawned on me one day, like a light bulb from heaven, a flash of light. They're asking for food. The reason they come up to you, quack, 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 is they're asking for food. And they do it every day, even though I've never fed them once. They're rejecting rejection. They don't know the meaning of the word no. But here's what's so amazing is if they're coming up to me every single day, quack, 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 there's at least a half a dozen, 15, 20 people that walk by that same lake that they go up to every day, quack, quack, quack. Somebody's feeding them. So they're succeeding. And they're succeeding because they never give up and they always ask. Now I'm not finished yet. Here's what's really cool. They never wake up one day and go, I don't think I feel like quacking today. It's too hot. I think I'll stay in the water. It's too cold. I don't want to quack. My wing hurts. I don't want to go out. They never don't lead generate for food. And it dawned on me, they're lead generating. And I thought, if I can just get my agents to work like this. So go be a duck and quack until somebody feeds you. Make it a great day.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.